The markets have bounced back. Well, at least Bitcoin has. Altcoins, some of them are still down very big. Which ones do we have our eye on, and which ones are gearing up for a big bounce back? We have an update on Elon Musk and Doge. Which blockchain are they thinking about using? It's not one that I guessed, and I'm sure it's not one that you guessed. We also have video footage of Cynthia Lummis discussing the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, which I think is going to make the maxis happy. We'll have to wait and see. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Solana ecosystem. And is AI going to make a comeback? Talking about AI agents and AI tokens. And if so, which one should you have your eye on? We got that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage that whole thing up in a fun and sexy way. Now, a lot going on today. I know it seems like if you woke up, you checked the news, hey, you know what? Bitcoin's still at 102, kind of bounced back, feeling comfortable on this 100K support. But X platform, working with blockchains, working with Visa, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, working with blockchains. It's very interesting. I think we're about to turn a corner here. You know, you got Donald Trump in office, the crypto president. You have his sidekick, Elon Musk, very deep into crypto. Obviously, he is a what is it? A computer
wizard.
Computer wizard. Yes, he is the wizard.
Wow. Got a new shirt today, huh?
Did go with the all white today. Okay. It's not new. You gotta have a white shirt in the closet. Normally I don't wear it. I figured today might be a good day. I don't know. So.
Why would today be a good day?
You know what? I don't know.
Surrender.
Throw up the white. Throw up the white shirt. I was looking at, there's one indicator that is, well, no indicator is 100% accurate, but some are better than others. So this one's called the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. And I'm taking a look and I did some math and I figured out at what percentage into the bull market we are. And I'll tell you what, I was wrong. I think you're wrong. If this indicator proves correct, we're on the back half of the bull market. I'll explain. We'll go over the numbers here in a second. But speaking of numbers, we have Bitcoin flows from yesterday. BlackRock, the only buyer, $63.9 million. Fidelity sold $268 million of Bitcoin for their customers. Bitwise, negative. ARK, negative. Grayscale, negative. And Van Eck, also negative. Now, the only bright spot, again, is BlackRock. Rob, do you, why do we keep seeing this trend where other large companies like Fidelity, like ARK, like Franklin Templeton, they consistently see outflows, but BlackRock, even on negative days, sees inflows? Do you think it all has to do with Larry Fink? And do you think that, the CEO of Fidelity is maybe looking around and saying, how are these guys getting inflows? And we're just...
I just believe that BlackRock's investors tend to be more of a long-term... I think that the client base for BlackRock, long-term investors putting away for perhaps retirement and or just, hey, like, this is my long-term portfolio. I have gold. I have S&P 500. I feel like that clientele is probably the ones that are buying from BlackRock. And I think that the more speculative Wall Street investor is kind of going to the outside of BlackRock, right? As far as other ETF options. I think that your traders, I guess you could say, are probably buying from other ETF issuers. I think that's just speculation. I don't have any data analytics. No, it's a household name, BlackRock. And I think that you're talking about portfolio and management. I'm not saying those aren't. I'm just saying that more so. I think that BlackRock, I think that they have a larger pool of capital from large companies. Because the thing is also institutions aren't going to be swing trading, right? I think that institutions, okay, the buyer, because we heard Larry Fink talking about institutions and sovereign wealth funds getting exposure to Bitcoin in certain percentages. And so they're not going to swing trade Bitcoin, right? And so how much sovereign wealth funds are using Fidelity? How many large publicly traded companies are buying ETFs through Fidelity, right? I think that more of those customers are through BlackRock.
I think I think dismissing Larry Fink's role is a miss. I think Larry Fink being so outspoken towards Bitcoin, being so bullish on it, I think factors. I'm not saying it's the only thing, but it definitely factors into what his investors are doing, right? If you're sitting there and you're looking at your portfolio and you're like, all right, we're going to go risk off. Like we saw yesterday, tech stocks sold off, NVIDIA tanked, all the chip manufacturers, TCSM tanked. And BlackRock still bought Bitcoin, right? And that means that their customers bought Bitcoin. And so I think having someone like Larry Fink up there saying, hey, look, we believe Bitcoin is like digital gold. It's a hedge against, inflation. It's a hedge against debasement. Everything, all this talking points, I think has some factor into the trend that we've been seeing with BlackRock. Because yes, BlackRock is the largest asset manager in the world, right? A little over $10 trillion. Maybe it's 11 now. But Fidelity, numbers-wise, they're smaller, but I mean, that's a household name too. They got a lot of big clients there too. And so we haven't really seen any video of the Fidelity CEO coming out and essentially being a spokesperson for Bitcoin and saying how great it is and why he believes in it. So I think it definitely has something to do with it. And it's only going to help moving forward, because if Larry was like the Fidelity CEO, I don't know, we'd probably see huge outflows from BlackRock as well. That's my personal opinion. Then we have this, speaking of NVIDIA, just a quick update. Well, it's back. Yay. Telling you, man, these markets overreact like Jesus Christ. Everyone just calm down, okay? We feel like stock market overreacts more than crypto market does. I don't know. Anyways, NVIDIA is back up nearly 10% from its low just seen 2 hours ago. Deepseek fears are now being viewed as a buying opportunity. Wow. No way. That's crazy. Any comment here?
No.
Is this what you thought was going to happen?
Yeah, of course.
Just the next day bounces back?
I still think NVIDIA is overpriced, overvaluated, or whatever you want to call. It's going to come back. It's going to correct at some point. Sure. I think that. But the thing is that, yeah, Donald Trump just, it was like 5 days ago, come out and pass an executive order for AI. Also had a press conference where he had Sam Altman, also some other major players in AI, saying that they're going to build a large AI company. What was it? Was it Stargate? Stargate, yeah. So they're going to build some conglomerate company.
I wonder who came up with that name. You think it was Elon?
No, I don't think it was Elon. Elon actually yeah, but the thing was, Elon actually got pissed off about.
Yeah, he doesn't like Sam Altman.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't like Sam Altman. It's like a competitor. They've had an exchange of words on social media accounts, and so yeah, I think that the narrative for AI is going to keep growing. I think that we're seeing competition between Deepseek, also between Chat GPT. There's other players. Grok is quickly growing with the X platforms, AI LLM. And so I don't know. I don't think the pullback's coming yet. But I do think at some point in this year, maybe on the back end, maybe when crypto has this big pullback, probably around the same time that AI will. And so I would reserve I would hold up. I will hold off expecting the markets or putting a position for AI to pull back, because I think right now it's still too hot. So there you go.
Let's take a look at the markets.
All right. So we have let's see here. So Bitcoin right at that $102,000 mark. It's flirting there, bro. It's flirting. I don't know. Maybe it falls underneath the 102. Today is briefly under there a couple times in the last, I would say, hour. But you take a look at the 7-day. At least one thing I'm comfortable with is that 100,000 is pretty much about as strong a support as you would like for the current situation, right? We got above it back in January 16th, and we've pretty much haven't been under there for more than a few hours every time we've went under 100K. And so pretty comfortable there. But as you mentioned when we came on, is that we did get a bounce back from Bitcoin. However, there's a lot of projects here down the list that have yet to rebound.
You know who's really rebounded is XRP and XLM.
Those have XRP up almost 8%, and Stellar Lumens also up 3.5%. And you know, it's interesting. Also, you got Cardano up 3%.
Why do you think that is?
But you look at Tron, Chainlink, and Avalanche. These are all under 1%, right? Avalanche is just a hair under for the 24 hours. Okay. Chainlink is under 1%. Tron under 1%.
Why do you think XLM and XRP have rebounded so bigly?
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. There was nothing I saw. I was kind of curious as well. I was like, was there some kind of narrative going on?
Speculation heating up about X payments?
Well, you know what? XRP on the SEC website, they removed the, what was it? So Ripple's case presence on SEC website disappears. And so they scrubbed all of the notes that they had for the previous court case with Ripple and XRP. That's all gone now. And so when you go to SEC website, there's no mention of XRP on there. And so, you know, if you look here on this post here, found out that it's just been moved cases on appeal. So cases on appeal, there's nothing there on there's no appeal section. So I don't know, man. It's maybe this is probably it. Maybe this is an overreaction. But even then, I don't know. I just think that XRP is just, people are looking to buy it. I think that it's just, they're looking at the value proposition. You know, XRP was briefly under $3 for a little bit. I think that a lot of people are looking at this bull market and saying, hey, XRP will probably be around the $6 to $15 range, this bull market. And if it dips down to $2, I just think it's a great buying opportunity. I think that's what the market is doing. Maybe the narrative of the SEC and XRP, maybe that has something to do with the reason it's outperforming the rest of crypto here. But I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you have a different narrative, or?
You look at the last, 2-3 times that the markets have taken a dump, XRP is either held really steady or bounced back very quickly. So retail interest is there.
Yeah.
All right, we got Magic Internet Money joining us. We missed him last week, but he's back this week. Always love having Magic on. Magic, welcome back. Hopefully you can do some magic on the charts and make Bitcoin go back up. How you doing, man?
Things are great.
Don't see you there.
Yeah, we don't have your. Okay, we can hear you. We just don't have your video feed.
That's weird.
Yeah,
it's probably for the best.
Well, the problem is you can't see. Problem is you wouldn't be able to see your chart. So, anyways, okay. So, Magic, you can see our stream, correct? Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can see me on mine, but there we go.
There we go. How you doing, man?
I'm getting homeless for you guys.
We love it.
I've given up on shaving, so
it's a no shave. Wait, that's November. Never mind.
2025 till the bull market's over.
The whole year until Bitcoin's over 110K. You know, Magic, there's a lot of indicators that people look to for market cycles. And I'm curious, I want to share this with you here. So this is the Pi Cycle Top Indicator. Are you familiar with this one, Magic?
Yeah, it was made and kind of curve fit the data was. So
Right.
I'm very familiar with it.
Okay. So this has been pretty accurate. Okay. It essentially signaled the top in 2013, in 2017, and in 2021. Now, what you have here is 111 daily moving average and a 350, 700-day moving average, because it's 350 times 2. And when the closer we get to 1, so think of it as a scale of 0 to 1. And I did the math on where we're at currently, and we're currently at 0.62. So when we get to 1, that essentially means the top is in, okay? We're at 0.62, which means theoretically we're 6/10 of the way into the bull market. What are your thoughts on that? And then what are your thoughts on where do you think we are in the bull market? What cycle are we? Like, what part of the bull market are we in? The back 9, the front 9, the second inning, the fifth inning? What are your thoughts, Magic?
I actually take a controversial opinion on this indicator. I actually kind of hate this indicator.
Okay,
the reason I do is because it was curve fit data. So you were like, it called the bull market back in 2013 and stuff. The bull market had actually already occurred. And what he did was he fit data into so that it looked like it called it there. So it was a hindsight indicator that he's trying to use for projection, which is where a lot of them start. But if you notice the last one, it did call the first top, but it was off. So to me, the indicator is generally time. Time is generally my favorite one. I use static averages. His are dynamic, and I understand that. But we went over that where it's literally I call it the PP zone. It's really immature, but it's just 2 pivots squared, and it creates a zone post-halving that if that average is lost, the bull market has been over in every single bull market. And in fact, it is retraced below the gold pocket from your high to low of the prior cycle. That's what I go off of. And that puts us somewhere in like that. Like I said, it could dip as low as like the 80K range, and you're still above that average. But Pi cycle, the reason I don't is because I know over time it's likely to lose its correlation, but that doesn't mean it won't work. It's just my opinion, how I see things.
No, that's great, man. No, that's great.
I think,
go ahead.
Time-wise, where we are, it's very simple. I think we are we're 75% of the way through this cycle. We got about a quarter of it left, and it's usually the most exciting part. So if this one's like every other cycle, then this is a good time. Everyone should be locked in and ready to make more gains. The most fun ones. Retail is back.
Yeah, retail's back. They lost all their money on the Trump coin. Magic, what are you seeing? What are you seeing on a Bitcoin setup here? We did get down to sub 100K, but we reclaimed that fairly quickly. What is the structure of the chart telling you, and what's kind of your thoughts with Bitcoin?
Sure. For me, the big pivot has just been this monthly high here, right at 99,776, so 100K. If we go down into the low time frames, it does look like a monthly swing fail, although I wouldn't exactly buy into it. If you lose this area here, some larger setups start to play out where we do start looking for that like 80 to 86K zone again. And that's where your quarterly average is. And it's actually done that in every single prior quarterly setup that we had, in the high time frames. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. That said, on the medium time frames, you came down below the level, but all you did was just run into your bi-weekly pivot. So this is just your average of price from the last 2 weeks of this consolidation. So this entire structure is predicated off of, we'll add 1, and you can see here. So all of this price action here is what determined this 98,936, right? So that's all you're looking to do is this price action is now going to give us an average that we would expect to be hit at a specific rate. And in this case, this is like an 80% give or take strike rate. You've come down to the average. They do often operate as support and resistance. In this case, it's because it lines up nicely with a key critical zone anyway from a prior monthly high. So to me, when I look at this, this is a really important area, that like 98 to 100K region. It's kind of a zone. That's where you want to be getting along. Because if we lose that area, I do open up the door to not just 90, but probably like 86,000 again. And then there is a setup for that. So we traded this setup. It was something we were looking for in advance on Bitcoin for this high. We were looking for, if it's going to make a new high, we're looking for it to basically outperform prior quarters by a few percentile, take out the high, and then come back to the 50%, which is your first target. Second target moves you down here. at the 886 and 1.133. And the reason I bring that up is we've actually done that several times in this cycle before. This was a very good example of it here, where you came up, you took the high, and then you took that 113% trip down. So it was a really, really nice setup. But for now, Bitcoin is holding the most important structure, which is target 1, 50%, which is supposed to be a reversal zone. So we need to see it live above here, close the month on it, and not give that level back up. Because once you give this up, I do start opening the door to like 90, 86 right here, which again is that 3-month average. And these hit at about 75%. And that would be right here at 86,811. So that's what I'm seeing is, range bound. And that's not a bad thing for right now. If you got a fair amount of, time up here, put in some structure, and it's, we'll call it constructive, I guess is the best way to put it. I would look for new highs, and I would look for it to push for that, like 114, 115, maybe even 120. And then the fun part of the cycle does begin. 2024. So this is something that I've done with you guys before, but it's a really simple way to look at the chart. Okay. So all I've done is I've taken last year from 2000 or the first to the end of the year and divided it in a channel. So this is your 50% mark. Anything under the 50% mark is its own range. Once you break above, you have your own range. So we've broke above, we have our range since our breakout, which was when about the day that Donald Trump was inaugurated. So it's a nice, confluence there that it lines up with a big time event. When you look at the point of control of this entire consolidation, pointing back to that 98 to 100K zone, it's very important that we live above here. And you can see why. It's also the point of control of our breakout since, he essentially got elected. So below about 98 to 100,000, I'm expecting 86. Anything above there, and we switch back into the idea that we're looking for higher prices, just like we were before on these setups where these led to expansions off of low volatility, which is what we've gotten so far. And we'd be looking at something to like 111,000, I believe, is where we were at. I'm going to get rid of this stuff because it's a little messy, but that was lining up here on the trend-based zone. So we talked about time in the cycle. This is another really great way to view it is if the cycle lasted the exact same amount of time like it has the prior 2 cycles, eventually it is going to deviate. You are entering an area of time where we do expect some kind of turmoil and resistance. Sometimes it's a sell-off, but also the back half of the cycle is pretty much, halfway over. So you've got 25% of it left, but in that 25%, you get some really fun price. The last 25% of this one was absolutely insane. So it's one of those things where I expect some volatility and some fun going forward. And I don't get concerned with price. And I know we were talking about Pi cycle, and maybe it does go off and it's great this year, but we don't get concerned, at least for me, until we're back below this zone here. And we talked about this recently, and it is here. Okay. So the halvings, right? Anything after the halving below this zone, which is just dual pivots, so we're just squaring out multiple time frames to get high time frame confluence. You can see after the halving, we've lived above it. Once you live below it, that's when your bear market begins. And there's no deviation of this. It's happened in every single halving cycle. You're living above it after the halving. The moment you give it up right here, you start finding your low. Same with right here, halving. We're well above it, holding it as support. It becomes resistance, bear market, right? So is it going to catch the exact top? Probably not. But it's a really good way to view things with horizontal lines that we don't really have to question. 2022, there's a bear market. So if we were going to see a bear market in 2025, price has got to give up $80,107 for me as of today. And until it does that, I wouldn't concede that this cycle is over or deviating in time, unless something drastic happened and, we need new information to make that call. So.
Unless we see the rest of the Trump clan launch meme coins, including the grandchildren. That would
I hate that so much. I'm not gonna lie. I know I wasn't here last week, but I hate that they did that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a good look. It wasn't a good look. It kind of tanked everyone's bags. Got sucked liquidity out. I mean, I watched it happen in real time.
I traded it because some guys in the group asked for it, and they were like, they wanted to trade it, so we'd have some setups on it, and it respects TA, but man, that thing is just, yeah,
I agree.
It is what it is.
Magic, one altcoin that we we've been sitting on and waiting for a big move is Avalanche. Shout out to Daniel Kaufman, who's in the chat, and all he ever comments is Avalanche. Hey, I have 100 Avalanche. Will I be a millionaire? So I don't want you to answer that question, but can we take a look at the Avalanche chart? There's so much, I feel like there's so much brewing behind the scenes, and price just isn't reflecting it. Are you seeing anything on the Avalanche chart that could tell you maybe, hey, we're getting ready for a move here?
Let's take a look. I feel like we did a setup on this one a while back. Yeah, this thing popped off really hard. Yeah, man, it got so close to these highs here, didn't it? These local highs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with this one challenging the most recent highs, it's not the end all be all. Like, this is something that I would shy away from. I would just understand that this can come all the way back down into this like $27, $26 range. And still, that's still a higher low. Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear that, but it can fall further, and it looks like it's going to. So you are coming into an area that I already had marked off for support, which is just the gold pocket high to low of this move. It was a really easy setup, and we talked about it on your show when we got long around $22 that we were looking for this back test. Now you're looking to see it get that higher low. Generally, if you're trying to form an uptrend, what we need to see is one, living above the old high, but you also need to see some higher lows in place. And oftentimes those come at key, regions in terms of like Fibonacci retrace as well. So his basic way to look at it is just, hey, if this gold pocket holds, and I start seeing price back above the old yearly open from last year, right around 38.50. That to me starts to look good. Like, hey, we're trying to put in a higher low, and maybe we'll re-challenge this high. In the moment that we do take these highs out, that's when you can start saying, hey, maybe we got a shot at $100, because after $50, there's really nothing between you and doubling in price. So it makes sense that it's getting a pullback here. It just, not the end of the world, to be quite upfront with you guys. Now, if you start living below that like $25 area, it becomes questionable. And I would begin looking at this as, a little miniature double top coming back into this support zone. A really easy way to, draw a setup like that would be like this. You can see the M shape. So you really want to see that higher low taking place, because if you give up this area of the chart, now we're looking at it as, what could this turn into? It could turn into, it looks like a deep crab, which would put you at new lows. So I don't expect that. This to me wouldn't have any kind of an actual setup in terms of a harmonic. It's just for the purpose of showing you that now you're looking for your next support, which is all the way down here. So yeah, you're going to want to hang on to $25, but for now you're at 30. That's your local gold pocket in linear scale, which is how you should be trading local price action anyway. If this folds, you do have support just beneath you, but that support is pretty important. Otherwise, you're looking at that thing coming all the way back down to like 11.10. So, yeah, not the most exciting TA for you guys on that one, but I do think that you're coming into support, and I would start expecting a bounce here. Maybe not today, but within like the next week or so, if price is going to start hitting these values. So it'd be a good time to look at your options if you're not exposed to, AVAX. If you're I can't remember the gentleman's name that you said comments AVAX every
Daniel
day,
Kaufman.
but he's obviously exposed. So, just ride it out, man. You've rode it out this long. I figure, don't sweat the small things until you're under about $25.
Yeah, and Avalanche is an S tier project. I mean, it's not going anywhere. They're building. So, I mean, if you're in something like a meme coin or like I don't know, I don't even want to name any other
Something that's dead.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, maybe, but
Altcoin.
yeah, you got you got no. You shouldn't be worried about being an Avalanche. Okay, and Magic. Last one. Is there any chart that you are looking to trade, or any setups that are kind of right there where maybe a sexy chart, a chart that doesn't look so sexy?
The one I've been looking at was ETH, because ETH is generally one of my larger position sizes in markets. Underexposed to Solana this cycle. Overexposed to ETH when I do my ratios there. But we can look at ETH, because ETH is an interesting chart to me, and it gets a lot of hate because it's people are bored, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Like they're bored. They want ETH to do something. It hasn't made a new high, right?
It's like
so
that
that's
the
story.
Guy that poking the stick. Come on, do something.
Yeah, basically. And it is. You're right here at the highs. It's like, come on, you're so close. You almost had it, that old commercial. But I would really advise zooming out. Like we're on a weekly here, and I've got the quarter two low at 27.77, and I've had that on my chart for weeks since basically over here, back in November, actually, that we would be looking for our higher low to base off of this if we're going to see anything of symmetry in terms of a consolidation. And as of right now, you can see that you've got really, really nice market structure. I mean, this isn't a bad chart. It's just taking longer than people want. You can see you've got nothing but higher lows along the way, and you would be making another one even if it dipped back to $2,800. Now, $2,800 to me is a big, big area. We've mentioned it before on this channel that if lost, it's a big area. So to me, I'm looking at this as if it's such an important area, I should probably be willing to trade it and operate off of it in terms of invalidation. So I'm looking at this zone in terms of like monthly closures specifically, but you can see the monthly wicks are very well respected. You can zoom out even further if you wanted to the 3-month, and you can really start to see that price did close below it, almost like a fail, quickly reclaimed. So now we want to see this area of the chart becoming support again. And if it does and puts in that higher low, you're consolidating underneath your all-time high. When ETH gets that rotation, it's going to have its move. You guys can see I was making fun of one of the guys in our group that's pretty active. He goes, I want to FOMO ETH so bad. I was putting his thing down there. Anyways, the point is the targets for the upside are still there. Like I'm still looking for 5,500 and 8,000 until I see a major sign of weakness in this chart. And even on a monthly here, you can see this is an uptrend. And when we lose that uptrend and start challenging it, which would be the first sign would be giving up 2,800, because then you're looking down to that 2K level again, which really puts this in jeopardy of losing an uptrend. That's when things can get worrisome. So to me, I'm looking at 2,800 on ETH. And I think that if ETH gets that bounce, you're going to see a lot of the other altcoins kind of go with it. ETH, generally, if ETH is moving well, the rest of the altcoins tend to go with it. Now, this has been a different cycle in terms of how altcoins have gone, it seems like, or at least from vibes I get from the communities out there. But
question.
Go ahead.
When it comes to my concern when I look at ETH is ETH versus Bitcoin. And I know that I know we're probably expecting a bounce when it comes to ETH versus Bitcoin. And I think that for me, I think that's the big breakout versus a price that has been stuck for eternity around the 3,000K mark. But at what point does this become concerning if you don't break out against Bitcoin? Because me and David have been talking like, what if 6 months from now we're looking at a Bitcoin and it's say 180,000 or say $200,000 Bitcoin, and well, he's at $4,000, or $4,200. At what point are you just like, what? This thing just cannot break out against Bitcoin. There's no point in holding it if Bitcoin's just going to keep outperforming it. And that's been my concern. Are you noticing anything on this trading pair?
You can fall quite a ways. But most things against Bitcoin look that way. And what I mean by that is, if you put it in log scale, it's a little easier to see, and we're in the 6-month time frame. But your last major low on this pairing is here. So yet again, there's quite a bit of room for this to come back down to support before you get worried about, is this thing not just topping out against Bitcoin, but is this becoming AOL? It had a great start, but I mean, it's the truth, because you have your Googles and stuff like that came out, and AOL used to be the service. I'm pretty old. Some of you guys in the chat probably aren't old enough to know what that is, but back in the dial-up day, that was. Yeah, it's just like JCPenney. Some people don't even know what that is. I'm like, dude, you don't know what JCPenney is? It's a dead clothing brand, or not brand, but clothing store now. So yeah, below here,
that's where
this like last year,
Dave actually shops there still. So
I don't know who Dave is, but
no.
But realistically, it's probably below here, and that's a ways away. So I mean, there's not a whole lot between you and there, but I don't do a lot of TA on pairings like this, to be quite upfront with you. So I don't know how well it respects it. It may respect it really well. And I think there's people out there that do stuff like that. But for me, when I look at it, you're already through your linear gold pocket. If you're looking at it from a percentage basis, you are coming into it. So this would be deemed as some kind of support potentially. The only hope I can see pattern wise on like a higher low would be something like this. You know, it's actually not bad. It's really not that bad. And so these are all done in log scale. So you'd actually be looking for 886786. We'll get rid of that. So what you're looking for on something like this is you identify a low, you're looking for a gold pocket. You need something underneath 100%. So 886 is kind of the max. You're pretty much maxing out C. But you're looking for the 1618 to 886 reaction, which is a very specific combination Scott Carney documented for harmonics. So you'd be looking for a maximum retrace if you're looking for support, like right here at this little value. I'm going to move it over so we can actually read it. So this would kind of be the zone. It says it's going to come down a little more. You'd probably be looking for somewhere like right here. Like, I don't even know how to read this. Are those Satoshis or what is that? It's like 0.02650 to 0.02438 is where you'd be at on something like this. So that's it. You know, to me, that's the support. If you lose that, you've got major support here, but that's the line in the sand for me. I really don't want to give that area up. And maybe it comes down and wicks beneath it, bounces. We see it all the time in cryptocurrencies. But yeah, below here, ETH's got some serious problems. It's probably reflecting in the ecosystem and the users. I can imagine the vibes are not chill at that point online for it. But yeah, I mean, it's coming into support to me. It looks like ETH wants to bounce here in like the next, I would say, month or two. It's just, again, we're boring people out of the market with this one, which isn't a bad thing as long as it's continuing to hold structure. And I really hang my hat more so on like non-pairings because I just chart USD values because I believe those charts tell all. But if it came down a little further on the Bitcoin pairing, it comes right into the zone we're looking at in terms of USD as well. So I do like that actually.
On one of your
confluence there.
On one of your time frames, I noticed you had a potential inverse head and shoulders plotted out there.
Yeah. So what I did was, so anytime you guys are wondering about something, I use the polyline tool. I keep it on my toolbar, but you can find it. I believe it's in one of these. Is it here? I don't know which one it's in. It's in TradingView. So I keep it on my favorites, so I never have to look for it. But yeah, so I always do this to kind of illustrate like market structure, right? So we're on the weekly time frame. You've made your high, low. You've made a low, right? We've made a high, and we're looking for that higher low potentially. So that's kind of what I was looking to illustrate for people in the group that were getting bored with ETH, that, hey, if we're going to see something like that, you know, you have a very classic, almost, you know, ascending triangle here, which I'm not a pattern trader. It's what I started as, like most people, is trading triangles and stuff like that, head and shoulders. And inverse head and shoulders in crypto actually have a decent hit rate, mainly because crypto's been, you know, up and to the right if you're in the blue chips for the most part. So inverse head and shoulders, it makes sense that more bullish patterns play out better when the asset is trending up over time the way it has. So this would be the ideal setup. Yeah. And to me, it looks really obvious when we look at it like now.
Right.
But believe it or not, people don't see it that way. They get sucked into watching a million YouTube videos. You guys should only be watching Sin City. I'm kidding.
Appreciate that, bro.
But they get opinions from so many different sources, whether it's, you know, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, Kick, I don't care what it is. And everyone's bullish or bearish. And these guys are asserting those, and people adopt these things. They swing. It's why you see market sentiment, in my opinion. This is the social media cycle to me, because there's so many influencers. There's so many people giving opinions. There's so much feeling in the market this cycle where we're so back and we're dead. It's like, it happens like on a daily basis almost, it feels like.
But I've lost the feeling on ETH though, man. I've drank the Kool-Aid, bro.
You mean you threw up the Kool-Aid?
Well, you know, last time you lost the feeling on Bitcoin when we bored out of 70K, it just rocketed. Remember when you gave up on 90K, and I can't remember what month it was, October? Yeah. And guess what? You just had to be patient, man. Just had to be patient. Moral of the story.
So wrong about Bitcoin. I thought it was going to zero. Damn it.
Magic, we appreciate you as always, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. Any parting words? If people want more Magic Internet money, where can they find you?
Hit me up on Twitter, join the Discord, just chat with me in there. It's fine. Anywhere, you know where to find me. Maybe I'll put my cell phone out there one day. I'm kidding about that, but
I mean, I can if you want me to. I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
Yeah, drop it in there, bro.
Don't do that.
Just kidding. Hey, Magic, where do you think Avalanche is going? Magic, as always, man. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you, brother. And guys, we did prompt the Discord link for Magic. Definitely recommend you go join. A lot of great insight in there. So, Magic, thank you, my friend. We'll see you next week, brother. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Did want to give a little love to the chat. We got a lot of new faces here. If you're new, say something in the chat. Say hola, O-L-A. I don't know. Say something.
Hold on real quick. You know, did you see the new Ola? Aola, like AOL?
Aola, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's just called aloha. That's
like
that's Hawaiian.
like aioli or areola?
So also
aioli on the areolas.
We got Jumar, Rio De Janeiro, Matt, Alejandro, Honk, T, Terry, 2112, Miss Kelling, Jimmy Rapp, Beebs, Tobias, Crypto Whelp, Jay Constant, Abbas, Southern Stacker, Dutang, Blue Man, and Jeff B. Also, Jeff B said he just subbed as well. And so welcome to the community. And also we got Maury and Jose. And Dark Energy put in $10 super chat earlier. He's
The New Zealand dollars.
New Zealand.
Get it right.
And, he was asking about Tau and what we think about that as a subnet for Deepseek.
Tau is my third biggest bag.
Yeah, he's pretty bullish on Tau.
I'm very bullish on Tau.
And then let's see. Oh, we got some people coming in here last second. We got Lucio.
The Lucio.
Lucio. We got Simply Donna.
Dana. Jesus Christ.
Donna.
I like
Doagan. Yeah.
I like
PC.
Doagan the January.
And we got honk. Dude, we got honk MF and honk. There's a little honk battle going on here. A lot of honkies in here today. So
He didn't do the Ola.
oh yeah, and so to all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I'm curious. Ashley's not here today. Do you guys prefer the Olas or the Yeehas?
No.
We're gonna hurt Robin's feelings here.
I mean, I already know we're crypto nerds.
A lot of men in this chat.
Yeah, a lot of nerds out here.
Are you calling our people nerds?
That's what
I guess I'm a nerd too.
Hey, at least they didn't call cockroach like last time.
Yeah.
you got cockroaches.
Yeah, good job. Where are we gonna
The nerds.
Where's the cockroach emoji for the channel?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
I still think we should put some running cockroaches on the LED wall back here.
Oh,
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll get on that. Also, I don't know if give a shout out last week, but Soda Pop joined the whale.
Oh yeah.
And then also we had James M join the center community, just the entry level. We also got Maximum Honk. Jesus, we got triple honks up in here, bro.
Damn. Also, for all the Patreon members, I recorded a special video for you guys yesterday. It was a full walkthrough tutorial on how to use Buy DeFi, the platform we use to trade. And so if you're part of the Patreon Insider group, make sure that you go watch that video. I know there's a lot of new people that are maybe this is their first cycle or don't know how to navigate that platform. So only for you. It's not going on YouTube. It's not going anywhere else. It's strictly for the Patreon members. Just wanted to thank you for being loyal supporters of this channel. So big thank you to all the Patreon members. All right, let's take a listen here. This is Miss Lummis, Cynthia, that is, talking about Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. And well, if you're a Bitcoin maxi, this should make you happy. Hopefully, those should be the tissue to wipe your tears.
So why Bitcoin would make sense as part of our strategic reserves is that we recognize other long-term stores of value and put them in strategic reserve. We have a gold strategic reserve. We have an oil strategic reserve. I think it is fitting that Bitcoin, now that is really digital gold, be included among our reserve assets. So I'm proposing in the Bitcoin Act that we purchase roughly 200,000 Bitcoin a year just by converting money we already have into Bitcoin and hold them for 20 years. If we did that with, say, 5% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist, which is roughly 1 million Bitcoin, we could cut our debt in half in 20 years. And in the meantime, we would have an asset that's growing in value while our own dollar is decreasing in value. And thereby we could shore up the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. What that does is help us protect ourselves against inflation, and protect the U.S. dollar on the world stage.
You know, I agree there. I think, you know, with the dollar being the world reserve currency, right? Obviously, after the 70s, when we got off the gold standard, it became less lucrative. I don't know if lucrative is the right word, but less smart to just strictly hold dollars, because of this thing keeps going down in value over time. Over a 25-year period, $100 becomes zero, right? You need $200 to buy $100 of goods and services you bought 25 years ago. That's just fiat currency when it's not backed by anything. It's interesting to see if we do get this Bitcoin reserve, right? And I think we are. We're going to get it this year. Are we going to get it next year? That I don't know. And I'm curious to get Rob's thoughts on that. But it'll be interesting to see, will more countries feel safer buying U.S. bonds, buying U.S. debt, holding U.S. dollar reserves? I know they already do, but it's decreased over the last 8 to 10 years. Will that trend now start to rise back up, which ultimately benefits the U.S. dollar? I'm sure these are conversations that people like Cynthia Lummis, people like David Sachs, people that are in the president's ear are telling him of some of the benefits, because we know Donald Trump says, dollar is the most beautiful currency ever. We got to make sure it's really strong, the strongest it's ever been. So it'll be interesting. What are your thoughts on what Ms. Lummis said, and what are your thoughts on what I said?
Don't care what you said.
Okay.
But Cynthia Lummis, no, it's not anything new. Though it's not like a new take from her. She hasn't been converted over to the Bitcoin community. You know, she is the head of the banking subcommittee on digital assets, and so no surprise there. She's the one that drafted the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve Bill, which she took the stage right after Donald Trump did in Bitcoin Nashville last year. And you know what? I think she called it as it is. Dollar decreases in value over time. Bitcoin doesn't. And so let's mitigate the inflation or the de-dollarization, the purchasing power. And let's mitigate it by propping it up with something that incurs value, that increases in value. And as other countries go and buy Bitcoin, just like we are, hopefully we have more than they do. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, like if everyone went back to the gold standard, what countries would be the one that profit the most from that? Well, pretty simply said, would be whoever has the most gold, right? And so if 20% of the gold supply is in the U.S. and we went back to the gold standard across all countries, well, then the U.S. would be the dominant leader in that spot. And so if you believe that the majority of the countries that will have a position on Bitcoin will own some kind of Bitcoin, then us being the leader in that space as far as percentage would bode well for us and our economy and the dollar. And so no surprise there. We're not gonna do a whole show on why Bitcoin's so great. I mean,
Why not?
probably already figured that out by now.
There's a lot of Bitcoin maxes.
Oh yeah.
Don't say Ripple. All right. This is kind of interesting here. So we caught wind last week or the weekend. Elon Musk was in talks of incorporating blockchain into Doge, right? Department of Government Efficiency. And we all had our thoughts, and we said, well, is it going to be Solana? Ethereum? Is it going to be Cardano? Is it going to be Caspa? Is it going to be IC? What is it going to be? What layer one? Hedera, right, with the governing council. One that wasn't on anyone's bingo card is Movement. Wow, Movement. Okay. Now, I've heard of Movement. I haven't dug deep into Movement. I don't own any Movement, and I haven't done a deep dive on Movement. But Movement is a L2 on ETH utilizing ZK rollup to enhance scalability and security. And apparently that is what Elon Musk is in talks with, and makes sense that Movement is the top gainer in the top 100, up 16% on the 24-hour at 80 cents with a market valuation of $1.8 billion. What do you think?
I mean, you can only
it's not a done deal.
You can only dismiss things so much until it becomes so ever apparent that you need exposure to it.
Should people go out and just buy this right now?
I mean, it's pretty low on the market cap, even though it has rallied today. I mean, it was at number 80 on market cap list. Where is
Number
it?
60.
60. I mean, it's interesting. You could make an argument. Doge is a branch of the government, right? And so you could say, hey, and this is kind of a reach, but you could say, hey, the U.S. government's using movement as its blockchain. I mean, could you say that's false?
That doesn't sound right. Doesn't sit well with me.
What? But I mean, in some regards, that is true, correct?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that in a loose reaching kind of way, that the U.S. government has chosen movement as its blockchain of choice.
Are you saying that
for
because of the
government?
name?
No name to do with anything.
Okay, I'm
just saying that.
What?
Okay, Doge, Department of Government
Correct.
Efficiency, has been created
I see what
by the president
Got it.
and by the executive branch, and
Got
it is a branch of government in some regard. Maybe it's not the U.S. military. Maybe it's not the Air Force. It's not the Federal Reserve. It's not any of these branches, but it is a newly created branch of government that. Give me another branch of government that's using blockchain. There are a couple of, there's Constellation DAG with the Air Force. And so, I mean, there are a couple out there, but it's I don't know. It might be worth something. We know that Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, is going to garner a lot of attention this year, especially they get headlines every time they scrap some kind of money. Donald Trump came out and said that, hey, they're freezing all funds that go out internationally via bonds and loans and
Just money?
Yeah, just they're not. They said, hey, we're freezing all money that leaves the country to foreign nations, which obviously I think that has something to do with Doge, right? Don't you think? And so there are a lot of headlines coming out from the Department of Government Efficiency, and if they're using movement, then I mean. How can you dismiss it, right?
Can't.
I mean, if you were to replace movement with Chainlink, you would have came in here and been like, guys, you would have been so excited. You would have been telling everybody to buy it. And Chainlink is in the top 12. You would have said, hey, this one's in the top 12. It's going to explode.
Okay. I don't recommend people buy things when it's running at 30%.
So you're telling me if the headline had been Chainlink versus Move, you wouldn't have been excited about it?
Oh, I would have walked in here back. I told you guys to buy Chainlink.
Then why aren't you excited about movement? Because this is outside the top 50.
No, because I don't.
So hype.
I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
Theoretically,
you want to know why?
Theoretically, this should have more potential upside than something in the top 15.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
I don't have any in my portfolio.
Well, this is exactly what we're doing. We're doing a thought experiment. We're saying, hey, maybe this is just time to put it in the portfolio. I mean, this is breaking news. I mean,
nothing's confirmed, though. It's speculation. But, good speculation. Then there's bad speculation. I think this is decent speculation.
Okay.
Interesting. I want to give a big thank you. Today's channel sponsor is Legacy Network. Their LGCT token launched a few weeks ago. It's held up extremely well. It's currently sitting at like $1.20. You can earn LGCT tokens while you learn with their app. Download the app on the Apple or the Google Play Store. It's a beautiful design, very intuitive. It's got a lot of different things that you can study and learn, and you can earn money doing that as well. The team is amazing. The product is amazing. So big thank you to Legacy for sponsoring today's show. The link to join their Telegram is in the description of this video.
I'll say it a $5 super chat from Todd. He was saying, new here a few weeks in. He needs more people on Caspa to buy KRC20 tokens.
I need more people on Caspa and to buy KRC20.
Okay. Community will grow naturally. So Caspa's got a very strong community. And then
wow,
Ashley sent a $5 super
Hell
chat.
has frozen over.
Oh, $5 super chat. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley.
She said, she's feeling nice. Don't spend it all in one place.
Wow.
Did we see which one was better? Which one had more community support? Was it the Ola or the Yeehaw?
I didn't do a poll. I just threw it out.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Let's get a participation.
I don't want to
here.
hurt your feelings, you know?
Put a 1 in the chat if you prefer the Ola. And then put a 2 in the chat if you prefer the yeehaw or however she says it.
She says it very blandly.
Yeah, bland.
But that's her style.
Yeah,
you know.
So we'll see who's got more pull here on the catchphrase.
Also,
1 or 2.
Speaking of Ashley, if you're a Patreon member, you would have noticed something, and I'll show you here real quick. You would have noticed on the far right, Rocco, you want to pull this up? You would have noticed on the far right, on the far left, Ashley's classroom. So that is the server's live, but nothing's in there yet. And we'll get stuff in there once we hit 50. We're around, I want to say 15 away, 14, 15 away. We'll be doing giveaways. So if you haven't joined our Patreon, if you want the most up-to-date, intuitive, kind of personalized information, conversations, videos, alpha, trading, you're going to find that all in the Patreon. So join if you haven't done so. And so a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah. Also,
a lot of ones in the chat.
One was Ola?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ola Strong up in here.
Look how excited Robin is.
The Ola Strong.
You're about to lose to a...
Gotta use the white cameras, otherwise the chest doesn't fit on the camera. You know, it's all inflated.
Stupid.
Look at that.
The chest is inflated. Oh, man. All right. That'll do it for the show today.
I did see some a couple new faces as well. Just last minute shout out. Todd K, JLY, Will Wall, Gary, Jeff, Paul, to all of you. Hola! Welcome.
Yeehaw. Yes, Regly. I'm going to actually, as soon as I'm done, we're going to bring Kyle in. It's not going to be live. And then we're going to do an ICP video that's going to be posted tomorrow. We're going to talk about the HBAR partnership. We're going to talk about Deepseek, and we're going to have usually I reach out to him and I say, hey, let's give an update. He reached out to me as there's a lot that happened. We should talk about it. I said, done. Let's do it. So that video will be coming out tomorrow. Today, you got an excellent video coming your way. With that being said, Rocco. Thank you, Rocco. That was great. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. Also, big thank you to our friend Magic and Money for breaking down the charts. We love you guys. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow for FOMC. Until then, peace.
Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I?